Hey, what's going on, my sisters in Christ? I hope all is well with everyone out there. Thank you for tuning in to the Anointed Experience. My name is Leo Walker. I'll be your host today and throughout the journey that we'll be taking. I'm the proud owner of Anointed Touch Health, Fitness, and Beauty. We're an online fitness business strictly for women. And what we do is use Christian and godly principles that aim to help God-fearing women overcome their daily struggles for confidence and purpose through weight loss, well-being, and spiritual growth. Welcome to the Anointed Experience, our very first podcast. And we are welcome to have a guest. Her name is Jada Jordan of Transitional Queens. We're just so humbled and happy to have her there. My name is Leo. I'll be your host. I'm CEO of Anointed Touch Health, Fitness, and Beauty. What we're about is bridging the fitness and faith together and helping women, not just physically, but spiritually and mentally, using godly principles. And by doing that, we want to not just focus on the fitness, we also want to help women with other things such as that's dealing with things with relationships and single women, single mothers, dealing with just the overall world and how we can help them through entrepreneurship, through encouraging and empowering and helping each other. So with further ado, let me introduce you to Miss Jada. How you doing, Jada?
I'm great. Leo, how are you?
Good. So happy to have you here. So without further ado, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am Jada Jordan. I'm the founder and president of Transitioning Queens. Our mission is to provide mothers with temporary housing to transition from toxic relationships.
Okay, great. Now, just for a little fun, tell us a little bit about what do you like to do? Some of your hobbies. What does Jada do for fun?
So my therapy is going to the gym.
I love it.
That's a positive therapy right there.
Right.
So I got into that about a year after my daughter was born. I did not like how I looked.
Okay.
It was horrible. That postpartum depression is real, but I made myself get in the gym. So I started off doing the group classes, and then I slowly made my way out to the floors. Got on the stair climber, stairmaster, and then worked my way out to the weights. So
okay.
I love lifting.
Oh, that's great. Now, how long have you been doing it now?
About 5 years now.
Oh, so you a veteran. You in it.
I'm a veteran.
You strong in it now. So tell us about your business. I know you said, of course, obviously you're the president. I know it's nonprofit, but just tell the audience a little bit about what you do and what your business about.
So the phase that we're in right now is raising our funds because we want to get our first location, which is a small apartment complex. So a 6 to 10 unit complex is what we're going for our mothers. Within the mothers that will be entering Transitioning Queens, there will be resources available for them because the whole thing is making them a whole individual coming out, along with them being independent. So we want whole healthy mothers to then raise whole healthy children, to then just your whole mindset, your whole it's a complete wellness check. And then obviously when you leave, you're going to be independent, be able to get your own housing, and then that next relationship that they come across will be a healthy relationship and not a toxic one.
Good. I love hearing that. So let me ask you this, just so everybody is clear. Where is this located? What area and where are you located?
Jacksonville, Florida. So that is where we will start get our first location, our first housing for our mothers.
Okay, good. Right. Now, what drove you and inspired you to do what you're doing? Do you have mentors or people who helped you along the way? Give us a little bit about that.
Well, the vision came from personal experience. So 4 years ago on Mother's Day, I was sitting in church and I jotted it down in my Bible, and it said transitional housing for women. So I knew at that point that if I had somewhere to go, I would get out of my marriage, but I had nowhere to go, so I felt stuck. So I knew right there that is a resource that we need. Well, as time went on, when I finally decided that I was going to, leave my husband, in February of 2019, so last year is actually when I formed the 501c3. So that's when I hired a law firm to do all the paperwork, all the legalities. I took that my tax return money and I started this nonprofit. Well, just 3 months after that is when my daughter and I became homeless. So we were bouncing from place to place. So it's a necessity. It's a necessity for sure. Yeah.
So for what you're saying, it sounds like it's bigger than just the building. I mean, what you saying about you and your daughter being homeless, it seems like she has a little bit to do with this as well. Is that safe to say?
Oh, definitely. She's my why for sure. And I know that this is my purpose because, God, obviously he prepared me beforehand. I mean, I saw the vision prior, but didn't know I was going to go through it. I had no, I wanted to avoid going through what I went through. But that didn't happen. He made me go through it. So now, little things that people would not understand or know, even just a small process. Embarrassing things that I went through, like, and I'm about to be real, but
go ahead.
Almost not even having food, even though I was getting food stamps. But when that time came for women's personal time, like I couldn't even afford to get things that I needed, like necessities. And it was very humbling, but it was a very, very low time in my life. And I definitely don't ever want to go through it again, but I'm glad I experienced it because there are things that people would not know unless they went through it.
That's absolutely right. And you answered my next question. How did God show you this was your purpose and what you should be doing? Because with that being said, now, since you understand your purpose, how did this transform you as a person? How did it transform you and allow you to see, how did God allow you to see who you are? And who he was.
He was, yeah, that's really, that's what it was right there. Because, man, if this journey that I went through allowed me to see who God was and that I had nobody to depend on but God. I know it sounds so cliche. It really does, because we hear that saying, but God. But God, it really is true. I'm telling you, I was low. I was so low. And I mean, we're talking about emotions from just not being with the person that you have your child with. Then it's not even being able to provide what your child needs, because now we have no home. We're bouncing from place to place. The only money I was getting was the temporary child support at that time. And my husband would be late paying that at times because he would be mad at me. So when he would get mad at me, it was just a struggle. I mean, there was nothing easy in the process. So it allowed me to, step my faith up, my faith game, like seriously. I see God in a different light now. And I know that he can turn the ugliest situation into something beautiful. So that Absolutely. Beauty for ashes phrase. I mean, it's real.
Yep, Isaiah 61:3. That's right. And the beautiful thing is what you're saying is, I'll go back to what you said about the gym. And you got a before picture and you got an after picture. A lot of times people just see the end results, but don't see the journey in between. So, that's why it's called testimonial pictures in your testimony, because, sometimes the scars may not show, but you may cover them up with your clothes because of what you've been through, and people won't see them. And that's why you're able to relate and talk to people the way you do and able to understand, because we focus so much on the problem, we make God so small. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And then we forget to focus on who our God is, because we forget we've had before pictures before and he's transformed us, you know what I mean? But the biggest thing that I see from you is humbleness. And that is called surrendering yourself, because that's the major thing that we want as a group and that we're trying to do, and that I love about your company, to encourage them. Because see, when you surrender yourself and when you get your mind right to do that, then everything else will follow, right? And I just believe humbling yourself allows you to admit your wrongs too.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, because a lot of times it's easy to make someone else or the situation or whatever the case may be look like a monster.
Yes.
But when you can look at your monster,
yes,
and change the monster that's inside of you to become to look like the person God wanted you to be, or try to be at the best we can do, and walk in his grace, man, it's something else.
Right. Right.
And hey, look, we about to have church on the podcast, right?
Okay. That's it. You made a great point. Seriously, that humbling, because we be so quick to say something about somebody else and they flaws and what they done, and we're judging. But in the Bible it tells you how you gonna point that thorn or that speck in somebody else's eye, but you sitting there and you got a whole log or plank in your own.
That's right.
So I definitely I look at myself differently now. I do not I never thought I was above anybody, but I mean now it's like, yeah, girl, be quiet. You can't say nothing about nobody else.
Right. Absolutely. And it allows you to, I guess, like me being in the training business, personal trainer, it allows you to be able to understand people a lot better, because now you're willing to open to hear, because that was you at one point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It may not be the same situation, but everybody goes through their times, everybody goes through their issues, but like what yourself doing is growing this and helping other people. You said weights were like therapeutic. Helping people helps a lot too, especially when they're going through, and you can help someone while you going through. That's a powerful thing, man. And I think what you're doing is so powerful, and I love it. That's why I had to have you on as our first, because what you're doing is just so powerful and great down there in the Florida area, and impactful. And that's what we need as followers of Christ. You know what I'm saying? Right. So tell me, what were some of the challenges that you face just as a woman trying to build the company and do what you're supposed to do? Because when you try and build a company, you're going to some who you thought would support you won't support you, and then sometimes those that you never would expect it be the ones supporting you. So what were some of the challenges that you saw?
Well, the initial challenge that I dealt with was me struggling myself, because I was still in the situation that I was trying to help others. I mean, the mission is what I was in that place. So what I had to do was I had to deal with my personal stuff at the when it came, because I was in and out of court with my husband. I mean, we lived in court over a period of time. Then I'm still bouncing from place to place with my daughter. So I had to put Transitioning Queens on hold, jump, back to the court system, deal with my personal life. I was back and forth. Now I'm in a place, because we are actually stable now in a home. So now that's why I'm full force with Transitioning Queens now. So that was the initial struggle. I also dealt with, I ain't have nobody supporting me as far as the business. Like my mom, I had to get 2 names, because when you form a 501c3, you have to have a treasurer, you have to have a secretary, and you have to have, the president. Right. So I had to get names. So my mom is a treasurer, and I had my good guy friend, be the secretary. Now things are changed. Now my mom actually wants to be involved, because she sees, like, I didn't put it out there. Now it's on blast, and now there is support coming in. But it took me persevering and still having faith for somebody else to believe. That's what it took. So now the people are coming, but it didn't start off like that. I know my mom, she was like, she ain't say it, but her action were like, I don't know what you think you about to build with this. So those were the struggles.
That's good, man. And those are, experiences that, I learned that you don't never lose. You just grow. You
That's
know,
true.
you're always growing, and it looks like that you're growing. And the thing is about when you're dealing with, even when we deal with God, and many times we'll believe, but we won't have faith. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We'll believe. Yeah, we believe who God is. We sure do. We know He's Omega, but I don't know if I have faith He gonna do what He say He gonna do.
Right.
And you can kind of see that, especially when you're a follower of Christ, how it can happen to us too. And you'll be sitting there feeling like it's all you by yourself, but we forget, you're not. You're never by yourself. You know what I mean?
Very true.
Now let me ask you, what would you tell women who may want to take a leap of faith or something they may want to do concerning business, a new health journey, or whatever the case may be? Because you've been through some things, and I think there's a lot of women that can relate to you. I know just from my experience from training. I would love for you to just give them a little bit and what you think.
Um, Definitely. I mean, if it's something that's tugging at your heart, um, you got to do it. Just like being in a toxic relationship, um, you got to make your mind up. You know, Sometimes you just got to make your mind up, and it's like, okay, am I going to do it or am I not? Just like in a fitness journey, you either going to do it or you're not. But what you got to think of is that if I don't start, then obviously I'm going to be in the same place. So you got to do something. You have to move. So if something is tugging on your heart, if there is, some goal that you have in mind that you want to accomplish, just know that if you give up, first of all, if you don't start, then obviously you don't start. But if you give up, then you're going to end up being in the same place. So keep moving forward, persevere, even if you may not have those people on your side. You just got to do it. Make your mind up and do it.
That's great. That's great. That's good, D. And now, with that being said, now what godly principles have you implemented in your journey as you took on this new regime of transitioning queens?
Well, if you see on my wall behind, well, it's actually in front of me, but I got verses on my wall. I mean, I have to keep my mind in a place that is uplifted and that is positive. I don't listen. There's certain things I won't even listen to. I don't watch TV. Because half the time, what's gonna be good that you're gonna be implementing, putting in, embedding. So your surroundings. But I got verses on my wall that I got to go to. The people that I'm surrounded by, I have a lot more. My wisdom is much greater, so my choices are better, and the people that I surround myself with are mainly godly people. I can't say that there's anybody negative in my life right now because I didn't eliminate them. They ain't there no more. I got rid of those. Right. So right. That's what I've done.
Now, I would also say it seems like wisdom, and I would say integrity, from what it seems like that you have now, along with humbleness. Because when you have integrity, I believe you won't compromise what you know in God. Yeah. Not to say you be perfect and won't slide, because we're sinners by nature, but what I'm saying is you're not going to compromise what you believe because of the integrity that you have in God. And because you're doing that, sometimes what your character says is louder than what you speak concerning godly words. Mm-hmm. Sometimes your godly character speak louder than your godly words. Right. That makes sense?
Oh, yeah.
And I really think what you're doing is powerful, because that's something we should all pray for, whether it's health, whether it's business, we should ask God for wisdom, courage, confidence, right. Boldness, all of the fruits of the spirit. We need all of those, everything. And I think when we do that, then we begin to, I would say, put God as the CEO of your company and you are a manager.
Right. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. I really, truly believe that, because sometimes when I get off track, I try to remember that, and I like that you use verses, because I do that too. And I sometimes I get in a holy fight with the devil and tell him, leave me alone. I start throwing them verses at him, but now, so with that being said, with your business, how are you going about reaching people? How are you going about, because I would like my audience, as we begin to post this out, because I would love to continue a relationship with you, because I think it's so powerful. We're supposed, the church is not just the four walls. It's a body. It's people united under one body in Christ. And I want to continue to be in relationship with you. So tell me, how are you going about doing this? And so if there's people in the Jacksonville, or people moving down there from Maryland and DC that might need you, how are you going about doing this?
Well, a lot of how we market now is, it's social media.
Okay.
It's online. So, my Instagram for Transitioning Queens is at Transitioning Queens.
Okay.
Facebook, you can search Transitioning Queens Inc. My personal page is on Facebook is Jada M Jordan, and then my personal page on Instagram is jada.m.j. But it really it's through social media now. Okay. Once I put that initial post that I did the beginning of September, I had a pretty graphic picture, and it got everybody's attention, and that's how I created the awareness about Transitioning Queens. So I just went full force. Now it's constantly posting, and people share stuff.
And tell me what that picture was, because I think I seen it, and I thought it was unique. Tell me what that picture was.
So that picture was me bound with my arms tied on a bed and a gag in my mouth. And it was illustrating how a victim of abuse feels. So that's what it was. And it got a lot of people's attention because they did not know how my marriage was. So, I have some people, they're like, well, were you literally tied up? And I'm like, no, it was an illustration, but I was in a domestic violent marriage. It started off, it started off verbal, then it became restraining, then it was sexual abuse, then he ended up, there was no hiding, because he picked me up and threw me on the ground. So he actually went to jail earlier this year. So, it was just a pretty graphic picture, and people noticed it. So that's how I was able to bring the awareness to Transitioning Queens.
Wow. And so that picture kind of resembled who you are. You were weak but strong. Weak but strong.
Yeah, it's letting people know how a victim really feels when they are in that environment. And the describing words I used was bound, voiceless. Oh goodness, I've had all of them, and I hate that I can't remember all of them right now.
What's even better, what I would like you to do is, because since you just said bound, voiceless, all of that. Now, how did you begin to get that all back? How did you get back to Jada that we see right now, that's smiling, that's joyful, that's content? How did you get there?
I got there by changing my mindset and knowing that I wanted better. It was really making a decision. It was no more wavering, even though you may waver after you make that decision, and you may be thinking, oh man, this is, golly, this is hard. Like I'm going through it now. This is harder than I thought. But there's hope now because I'm out of that environment. When I was in that environment, there was no hope for me because I was stuck. Now I can see the light. If I stayed in it, I'll still be in the same place. There was a point where I thought that my ex-husband would kill me because we had guns in the house. And that was the person that I saw was a complete monster. And there's no doubt in my mind that one day he would have got angry enough to get one of those guns and shoot me. So I was thinking about my daughter, honestly. Before me, it was about my daughter, because I didn't want to raise her in that environment. Mm-hmm. But I just had to make a decision.
Wow, that's powerful. Yeah. You got a powerful testimony. And something you said was to light. That's what God said. He is a lamp and a light that guides us. Sometimes we be so stuck in the dark, we can't even see the light. So what you're saying is so true. So Jada, I want you to repeat your website, all of your information again.
Okay. So my website is, like, any day now it's going to be launched, but it's transitioningqueens.org.
Okay.
Email is info@transitioningqueens.org. Instagram @transitioningqueens. Facebook, you can search Transitioning Queens Inc. Personal page jada.m.j, which is Instagram. And then Facebook is Jada M Jordan. So
okay, great. And Jada, because you're a nonprofit, are you taking donations right now?
Yes. You can donate through Facebook or Instagram, because there's donate buttons on the Transitioning Queens page. And then also my cash tag is the $ Transitioning Queens. So you can also donate through Cash App.
Okay. So I want everyone to try to donate, and let's help this sister out, because this is a powerful thing, and this is nothing but God. This is something we all should want to try to help, because we've all seen people who's been homeless. We've all seen people who's been through it. We've all seen people who's trying to start over and just begin a new life, and they just need the opportunity. So even if it's 25, 6, I don't care, just donate. And with that being said, we're going to donate to your company as well in order to touch, because if we're going to build relationships, then we're going to help each other like we're supposed to as brothers and sisters of Christ, and do things. So anything that I can do or the company can do, don't hesitate. We'll still be in touch, because I got to get your information for us to donate, because I'm going to get it off, and so I can put it on my website and put it in the group and everything. But please, y'all, check her out. She's great. She's good people. Wonderful young lady with a beautiful daughter at that. We just thank you, Jada, for coming on. We thank you for your presence. We thank you for your heart. And we thank you for your belief in God and your inspiration to all these young ladies that we're trying to reach. Because if we get a little bit doing a lot, we'll get a lot done.
Right, exactly.
and I just truly believe that. So thank you, Jada. I appreciate you. And we'll be talking soon, okay?
We will. Thank you for having me.
All right, Miss Lady. Have a good one.
All right. Okay, you too. Bye.